This episode of Harvey Brownstone Interviews is brought to you by the Harvey Brownstone Talk Show Blend Coffee, available at hollywoodblends.com. Everyone's saying it's the best coffee they've ever tasted. Why not give it a try and see for yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm Harvey Brownstone, and today's guest is a popular singer, songwriter, record producer, and author who was the first white female singer to be signed to the Motown label. She's been immortalized for her hugely popular worldwide mega hit song, I've Never Been to Me, which was originally released in 1977 and then took the world by storm in 1982. And then the song had another resurgence in popularity in 1994 when it was featured in the terrific movie Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Our guest has released 6 albums entitled Charlene, Songs of Love, Used to Be, I've Never Been to Me, The Sky is the Limit, and Hit and Run Lover. Some of her other hit singles from back in the 70s and 80s are It Ain't Easy Comin Down, Freddie, Hungry, Used to Be, I Want to Go Back There Again, and We're Both in Love with You. She appeared in the movie The Last Dragon, in which she sang her hit single, Fire. Her song, It Ain't Easy Comin Down, was featured in the movie The Last American Virgin, and her song, I've Never Been to Me, has been featured not only in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, but in over a dozen other movies and TV shows, including Me Without You, This Is Us, You Were Never Really Here, The Simpsons, and The Flight Attendant. In recent years, our guest has been recording under her actual name, Charlene Oliver, and she's released some great dance hits like Heard You on the Radio, Destiny, Fairy Tale Life, California Dreamin', Broken Woman, Emotional Scars, Why Can't Time Stand Still, and a fabulous dance version of her classic hit song, I've Never Been to Me. Our guest has also written 3 books, a memoir called I've Never Been to Me, a children's book called The Life and Tales of Herman the Worm, and a highly compelling Holocaust novel called Orphan Train. I'm delighted to welcome Charlene to our show. Charlene, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. I love all the things you were saying about what I've done and my songs and I love it.
Did a lot of memories come back to you?
Oh, so many memories. Incredible memories.
Well, your first big break came when you were hired as a backup singer for Petula Clark. What was that experience like?
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, Don't Sleep in the Subway, Darling by Petula and Downtown and all that. Oh, those brought so many great memories. I loved it. It was, and having the orchestra. And you know who opened up for us? Joan Rivers.
Oh, that must have been hilarious.
Oh my gosh. She was so funny. She was fantastic.
So how did you get signed to the Motown label?
I've been doing little gigs around with people who had little studios. And me and my first husband, Larry, I was, married him a long, long time ago. We met a guy who had a little studio. And he said, can you guys record a song that I wrote called From Your Lips to God's Ears? And so he was like, oh, that's great. So we went into the studio and it was just a really basic, nothing little track, and he and I would sing at parties and stuff. And it was fun. It was fun. So we had a recording of From Your Lips to God's Ears. And then we had another song that we did called Sweet Sad Clown. And we brought it to a party. And this lady came up to us and said, Charlene, I love your voice. Oh, I love your voice. Do you have any copies of your songs? And I said, yeah, well, here, I got a little cassette of Sweet Sad Clown. And so she took that with her. And I had heard that she worked with Sammy Davis Jr. She was working, for his company. And she knew Barry Gordy. And I said to her, I said, do you know who Diana Ross is? She said, yeah. I said, I love her. And I didn't realize that Diana was with, Motown. And she says, yeah. And so she went away and she contacted me a few months later and said, Charlene, Barry Gordy wants to meet you. And I said, what? And he knows Diana Ross? was so I was so like, well, what's wrong with me? I wasn't putting the dots together, So she said, yeah, he wants to meet you. But right now he's working with Diana on the movie, the movie that she did, the history of.
You mean Lady Sings the Blues?
Yes, yes. Billie Holiday story. Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. And so he wants to meet you, Charlene, at the Warner Brothers commissary, because that's where Diana was doing the filming, all the shorts, the little things that they do together to edit the movie and everything. So I went there. Barry, I met him. I was like, oh my gosh. I was blown away. Because there's Diana Ross, there's all the executives for a lot of the stuff that worked on the movie. And I'm sitting there just like, what am I doing here? What am I doing? So Barry said to me, he said, Charlene, I hear that you love to sing. And I said, oh, I love to sing. He goes, can you sing me some of your little Sweet Sad Clown song that I heard? I really loved it. And I said, sure. And I stood up in the Warner Brothers commissary and started singing. Nancy told me, she said, Barry loved the fact that I said, oh, sure. Yeah, I'd love to sing. So I was signed to the label within 2 months.
And what were your impressions of Barry Gordy once you got to Motown?
Oh, I loved Barry. I loved him. He was kind of like a father to me. He was because he was a lot older than me, and I loved him. I loved him, and all the people he knew, and all the people he produced, and all the songs that he wrote, and everything, and getting Diana going, and also Michael Jackson going. He got all those guys on his label, and here's me sitting here like, oh God, what am I? I was blown away. I was absolutely just gobsmacked. I couldn't think. So we parted ways after seeing him, and I got signed to the label.
When you were first signed to Motown, you went by the name Charlene Duncan. Why did you change it to just Charlene?
I don't know. Duncan was my first husband's last name, and we just figured Charlene would be more of a ring to it. It would be more of a memorable name as opposed to Charlene Duncan or whatever. It just felt better.
And then around 2012, you started recording under the name Charlene Oliver. What was the reason for that name change?
I got married in England. Like my husband, Jeff Oliver. We changed it to that, to my real, my name, as opposed to being just Charlene. And it got a little confusing, who is she, which one, Duncan, Charlene Oliver, never D'Angelo, and that's my maiden name. We never got D'Angelo in the mix, which was really nice because I always love my last name.
Well, to me, you're always going to be Charlene. I have to ask you, Charlene, after reading your book, and I'm referring to your autobiography, and learning about what you went through in your horrific first marriage, I have to ask you, what went through your mind the first time you heard the lyrics to I've Never Been to Me?
Oh, my God. Oh, I'll never forget it. Well, I had been going up to the Motown office, because I've been signed, the new kid on the block. I was the new artist, and people were kind of going, oh, she doesn't sing like us. I sing more, ballady stuff. And I was going through a really bad time, bad time, marriage, bad. Ron Miller, who wrote a lot of the hits for Diana and many, many hits, he approached me in the Motown office, and he said, hey, Charlene, I love your voice, but I'm listening to the songs that you recorded, the demos that you did for people. They're not capturing your voice. And he says, I work with Diana Ross. I worked, of course, Diana Ross. I work with Barbara Streisand. I work with a lot of big artists. And you have a magic to your voice. And I've never heard it. I've got a song that I wrote that when I heard your voice, I wrote the female version to it because he had the male version, which the Temptations did. Okay. And then he said, I heard your voice and I would like to play it for you. Okay. Now, he didn't know me from Adam. He didn't know anything about me, really. And so he brings me in his little office and he pushes a button on the tape recorder. And the girl goes, hey, lady, you lady, cursing at your life. You're a discontented mother and a regimented wife. I've no doubt you dream about the things you'll never do. But I wish someone had to talk to me like I want to talk to you. And all on and on. And he's sitting there, and all of a sudden his chair goes back. And I'm bawling my eyes out. I was crying because it was like my life. It was like, did you write this about? Did you live with me for a period of time and know what I was going through in my life? And he said, no, I didn't have a clue about what was going on with you. And I said, oh my God, this song is my life. This song, it's like you went inside my heart and you pulled my heart out and was like, this song was, you know what? It was, Harvey, it was meant to be me.
There's no question, because the destiny, the moment, you see, the thing about your voice, I'm so glad I get to tell you this. Yeah. You have, besides the melodic beauty of the way you sing, there's an intimacy to your voice. And so and I have to tell you, you gave me goosebumps when you just sang it now.
Really?
Because you have a way of making the listener feel like you're singing just to them.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that before.
And, I'm fascinated that although I've Never Been to Me was first released in 1976, it didn't become a big hit till 1982 when a radio DJ in Florida by the name of Scott Shannon started pushing the song. And by that time, you were living and working at a candy store in England. You must have been shocked when Motown called you back to America.
I was blown away. And you know what? After we came to the conclusion that this was a reason, okay, the thing I'm getting to, the reason why Never Been to Me became a hit in the 70s, there was one bit of the song that was not put in there. Hey, you know what paradise is? It's a lie. A fantasy we create about people and places as we'd like them to be. But you know what truth is? It's that little baby you're holding, and it's that man you fought with this morning, the same one you're going to make love with tonight. That's truth. That's love. Oh my God, I just gave myself chills.
No, you're talking about the bridge where you speak.
Yes, that wasn't in it in the 70s. And then the 80s, that was when it went in, and it was like, that was like the penny dropped. And it was like, that was what made this song, because people would say, oh, you were really on a yacht with, guys, seducing you and all that kind of stuff. I said, no, the song is a metaphor. She's home ironing her husband's shirts. Hey, it's a lie. A fantasy we create about people and places that we'd like them to be. But you know what truth is? It's like it all came back around, and the song was just talking about this lady's life.
But whose idea was it to put that spoken bridge in there?
Ron Miller. It was in there, but Motown took it out because they said, oh, that's so syrupy. No one's going to hear that, But Ron knew, he knew that needed to be in there. But in the early 70s, it was not in there. It was taken out. But in the 82, it was bam, that was it. And it gave everybody such chilling feelings. And it was talking about the metaphor. I was never on a yacht sipping champagne and all that stuff. It was all where she wanted to be in her mind, in her memories, and her feelings of what she wanted to be and wanted to do, and yeah, it was, oh, I loved it.
So how did your song end up in the movie Priscilla, Queen of the Desert?
Oh, I love it. I love that movie. I love it so much. Well, it's 1994, and I'm living in Santa Clarita. It's in California. And Ron Miller calls me, and he goes, Charlene, he goes, hey, baby, he always called me baby. Hey, baby, you'll never believe what movie our song is in. And I said, what? He goes, it's called The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. And I said, I've never heard of that. He goes, oh my God, it's the most incredible movie. So I went and watched it. Oh God, it was so great. This movie was brilliant, just brilliant. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So then I hear that they're doing the musical in London, or no, Australia. They're opening up the musical in Australia. And someone calls me and goes, you want to go to Australia and open up the show with you singing I've Never Been to Me? And I go, oh my God, yes. So I brought my daughter Bethany with me because I didn't want to fly 18 hours, such a long flight, right? So we went over. Everybody's there, almost all the cast. A few people weren't there. Hugo Weaving wasn't there. I was like, I loved him. But Terrence Stamp, he said, Charlene, I must tell you, we had so much fun with your song. I love it. So, it was so great. It was so fantastic meeting all these people.
So because of your connection with Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, you've become a huge icon in the gay community. How does that feel?
Oh, it felt, I've had so much fun touring England to all the gay clubs and people coming up to me, and oh my God, I had a blast. It was so much fun. It just kind of, it was like a roll, kept coming, more shows and more clubs to sing in.
Do you really get the double meaning of that song for gay men, that we gay men are trying to figure out who we are, and we want to be accepted, and we want to live our best lives, and something in that song touches our hearts?
Yeah. Oh my God. You're exactly right. There is a big component to that song going right into our hearts, and I felt it as a, I'm not gay, but as a woman, I felt it coming into the heart of people. And I mean, okay. And I had a dance version of California Dreamin', right, that I did in my little show in England. And they would dance to it. They loved it. It was really fun. But the minute the dee 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 dee, it was like the whole place stopped. They were listening and they were like just screamed because I knew it was the ballad. And I had the best time of my life when I was doing that.
And where did you get the idea to turn Never Been to Me into an upbeat dance song? That was brilliant.
Really? I didn't know what to think of it. I mean, this man came up to me when I was back in California, and he says, I've made a mix of Never Been to Me as a dance song. I said, really? I can't imagine, and so he played it. It was fun. It was like, and then we had the rapping. Did you hear the rapping part?
Yes, I love it.
She's talking about she's living the lie up in paradise. Oh gosh. Oh my God. That was so fun. So that was a great time. It was fun.
So Charlene, it says on your Wikipedia page that in the late 70s, you recorded an album for Motown that was never released. Is that true?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've got so many unreleased songs. Unbelievable.
Well, why? Why hasn't it been released? We want to hear more of you.
Oh, Hit and Run Lover, right?
Well, in 1982, you recorded a duet with Stevie Wonder called Used to Be, which had some very controversial lyrics, and it was even banned in the UK. What was it like working with the great Stevie Wonder?
Oh, God, Stevie. Stevie, because I would, when I came to the Motown record label, I was up at the office all the time. And Stevie would be there, Marvin Gaye would be there, and all the guys, the Temptations, they were all so sweet. I love them. I was sitting at the piano, just noodling on the piano, and Stevie came in with his entourage. And he goes, "Hey, Charlene." I go, "Yeah. Hi, Stevie. Hi. How are you doing?" He goes, "I want to play you something." So he sat down at the piano. The first thing he played me was "I Only Have Eyes for You."
Oh, that's so sweet.
So cute. I loved it. I loved it so much. And then he sang another song that he wrote called "Taboo to Love." And he says, "I just wrote this song." And oh my gosh, it was beautiful. I don't think he ever recorded it or put it on an album. I'm not quite sure. But just he is the most gracious, a gifted genius ever. Stevie Wonder. I hear his records on the radio when I'm walking through restaurants and things. I hear it and I'm like, oh my God.
But Charlene, I don't understand. First, they don't release this album that you recorded. Then there was this song Used to Be, which had some very controversial lyrics. Why didn't Motown have you and Stevie re-record the song with different lyrics?
I don't know. I saw Stevie about 15 years ago, and I went to one of the big guys at Motown passed away, and we went to the funeral, and I saw Stevie. He goes, "Charlene, when are we going to do another duet?" And I said, "I don't know. I don't know, Stevie. I don't know."
Well, when you were recording your 1984 album, Hit and Run Lover, you were offered the song We Belong, which ultimately became a hit for Pat Benatar. Do you know why your producer didn't want you to record that song? It would have been perfect for you.
I still cringe when I'm in the market and I hear that song come on. That would have been my song. That would have been, and the guy who wrote it, I can't remember his name, but he came to my house with this lousy little demo playing me the song. He goes, "Charlene, I want you to do this." And I went, "Oh my God, I love that song. I love it." And so I brought it to one of the producers at Motown. And they said, "Oh, okay. It doesn't really sound like it'd be good for you." And I went, "Why? I could do this song." And next thing I know, it's on the radio with Pat Benatar.
Well, Charlene, I'm just going to say it. I think your time with Motown was a real roller coaster. They released you from the label in 78. They bring you back in 82. They don't release all kinds of material, including a whole album. They don't re-record the song with Stevie Wonder that just needed one little shift in the lyrics. Looking back, do you think Motown was the right label for you and your voice?
No, no, I don't.
I don't either.
Yeah, well, I was very grateful for what I had. I was very grateful for Barry taking me under his wing and hearing all these great songs and able to just sit around and do. We did a big writing thing at his house with Smokey and some of the Temptations and all the big artists. And we were all writing lyrics to songs, and I was writing some. I don't even know if they kept any of my lyrics, but it was like I was a part of it.
But I don't think they knew what to do with you, Charlene.
I don't either. My voice was too different. My voice was not a Diana Ross voice. She had a higher pitched voice than me. She whatever it was.
Well, and you didn't necessarily have the kind of soul voice, the R&B soul voice that they were used to. And I know you've had a number of hit songs in the top 100, but you are often referred to as a one-hit wonder. Does that bother you as much as it bothers me?
I hate it. I hate it so much. I really, it's horrible. I was kept down. And I had so many beautiful songs.
And that voice. So if you could start your music career all over again, would you do anything differently?
Well, I sing more soulful now. I have a lot more soulful voice now. And one of the songs that would be out there would be Ain't Easy Comin Down. I love that song.
Oh, that's one of your best ones.
Oh yeah. Ain't Easy Comin Down is such a gem. It's a gem, and it should have been but it wasn't, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to know what would have happened if you had not gone to Motown, but you could not be criticized for going there. I just personally feel, as a longtime fan, I mean, you have no idea how much I've wanted to have you on our show.
Oh, I love it.
I feel they just didn't know what to do with you.
They kind of didn't. No, they didn't.
And then in 2009, you released this amazingly, emotionally powerful book called I've Never Been to Me. You were very candid about being a teenage bride and mother, living in poverty, suffering physical abuse at the hands of your ex-husband, Larry, who was a drug addict.
Yep.
Charlene, where did you find the resilience to get through all of that?
God, and just music, loving my music, just being resilient. I've always had a very resilient attitude in life. I've got that. I laugh a lot. I'm a laugher. Happiness is so important to me. And I've had but a lot of really down, bad times, but I always bounce back up, and, it's I can't really answer that. I don't know.
I think something in the way you were raised taught you to believe in yourself and to be a survivor.
Yeah, I am a survivor. I am.
Do you still want to perform and record?
Oh, God. Well, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. I've been writing. I play the piano now. I taught piano to kids for a while. I've been writing and I'm doing that. And I get these things where I'm like, I'll hear a song on the radio and I'll go, oh, I love that lyric. I want to write a song like that, and I get really charged up, and then I just kind of, oh, yeah, but I don't know. Oh, I'm very fickle. It's not good.
But you just proved on our show that you still have that voice. You just did it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do.
Well, I've got to tell you, it's been such a pleasure meeting you. You have such a spirit about you. You've brought so much joy to music lovers all over the world.
Oh, that's so good.
I hope that you know that you're very much remembered, not only by us gay guys who felt that your songs somehow gave us a reason to believe that maybe our life would be good and that we would get to us, but also to the whole world, especially women who felt like maybe their lives weren't good enough. And then you sang this song and told people, essentially, your life is what real love is. Your life is what real truth is.
I know. Somebody would have talked to me like I want to talk to you, It's like, yeah.
I have to say that you deserve a whole lot of joy in your life for all the joy you've brought to us. And I especially want to thank you for taking the time to appear on our show.
Thank you. Thank you, Harvey.
Our guest has been the one and only Charlene. You can follow her on all the major social media platforms, and don't forget to subscribe to her YouTube channel, which is now showing on your screen. My name is Harvey Brownstone. Thank you all for joining us. See you next time. Thank you to my producers, Steve Silver, my managers, Rick Marcelli and Robin Bragg Marcelli of the Marcelli Company in Hollywood, my director of programming, Robert Monaghan, my editor, Isaiah Sharalampidis, and my entire team at the XPTV1 network in the UK.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out all the great interviews on the Harvey Brownstone Interviews YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when new videos are posted.